Well, hello, and welcome back, everyone, to another Market Conversations. I'm Jerry Hall. I'm sitting here in Costa Rica, and I had a whole kind of show mapped out tonight, right? It was going to be about the process of establishing a strategy to attain wealth and then switching to a strategy to preserve wealth and walk through various functions of that. And I'm more than happy to explore that topic. However, something happened last night. Something very profound in my experience occurred while I was watching Thursday night football, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Dallas Cowboys. So I was just trying to relax and enjoy football, as I've been a fantasy football player for 25 years, and it's a lot of fun. And I have Antonio Brown, who's on the Buccaneers. So I'm just enjoying the game, and here comes this commercial. Now, it's Tom Brady and his wife, Giselle, and they're talking about cryptocurrency and the FTX exchange on national television during an NFL regular season football game. I thought to myself in that moment, holy tamale. Holy tamale. I remember so vividly when I got to this space in 2018, drank the Kool-Aid, jumped down the rabbit holes, thinking to myself, wait till the world gets a load of this, right? For a long time, this digital asset space was kind of a dirty little secret. You know, there were many naysayers, right? You couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a FUD article from Jamie Dimon or somebody from the established financial system, that old legacy clunker, saying it's a fad, it's a bubble. You've got very respected investors like Warren Buffett saying it's rat poison squared. Not great for the uneducated to hear these things from prominent folks in finance. Well, a lot of that tune, folks, has changed as we've seen more and more financial luminaries enter the space, not only enter the space, but publicly declare they've entered the space. I'm talking about legends like Ray Dalio. Big deal. He is a big deal investor. Paul Tudor Jones, Stanley Druckenmiller. The tone on the financial news networks around this digital asset space has begun to soften and change. And now mainstream America is getting dosed with national ad campaigns on some of the largest platforms in the Americas. NFL football is a big television deal. Millions upon millions upon millions of people tune in to NFL games. And to see your crypto commercial sandwiched in between a Subway's ad and a Budweiser commercial was pretty cool. But it didn't stop there. It didn't stop there. The next ad that rolled in for the next commercial break was from SoFi. Now, SoFi is an app on the phone. They're an internet banking institution really trying to capitalize on this digital space, not necessarily the digital asset space, but the digital space. And SoFi has been doing this for a while. Student loans, home loans, checking, banking, savings, all that stuff. Well, they have also crypto, and their ad on the television during this NFL game wasn't focused on their suite of services. It was focused on their ability to provide you the US resident, direct access to cryptocurrencies. I'm like, wow, that's two separate entities putting out money in the traditional marketing world to get this in front of the new eyeballs. Those ads weren't targeted for me or for any of you that are tuning into the show tonight. Those ads were targeted to the people that have heard about Bitcoin but know nothing about it. It wasn't a half an hour later that one of my favorite NFL characters, Mr. Rob Gronkowski, is on the screen. And Rob did a funny commercial, but his entire pitch was for the Voyager app. 3 separate digital asset companies pouring real dollars into one of the most expensive marketing milieus in all of television. Ads on NFL games are not cheap. We're not talking 3 a.m. in the morning on some cable channel that only people with insomnia and methamphetamine addicts are watching. We're talking big time, prime time television. 3 separate companies. And I want to applaud each and every one of them. Now, I'm going to show my support for those that are out there vigorously marketing this space to the world that is not yet here. For those that have not come yet. So I'm going to get a SoFi app. Will I use it? I may dabble a little, $50, $60 or something. I'm going to get an FTX exchange account. Will I use it? We'll see. But I will dabble. I'll probably buy $30, $40, $50 worth of Bitcoin or something. Will I reach out and try to get a Voyager app? You darn tootin' I will. If nothing else than to show my support for the efforts to market this asset class to the world who is yet to come to it. It's a big deal. This space is growing in leaps and bounds. The things that I dreamed about but questioned many times during the crypto winter of 2018-19 and the beginning of 2020. Is it ever going to happen? Is the world ever going to see what I see? Well, those questions are being answered in short order. And we're not just seeing it from a marketing perspective. We're seeing sovereign nations. Everybody in this space knows about El Salvador. They've gone live. It's happening. Are they having some hiccups? Sure they are. Are there some problems with the app interface? Yes, there are. Excuse me. They'll get worked out. It's just tech. It'll get worked out. We're seeing other Latin American countries. Panama is throwing their hat in the ring. Now, Panama is one of the largest financial hubs for all of Latin America. It is a monster financial hub. They're talking about digital assets in commerce. They're talking about digital assets forgiving debt. They're talking about digital assets paying taxes. This is a big deal. The Ukraine following suit. How about one of the largest naysayers, one of the most wishy-washy on and off again countries in the world, India, coming out and putting their proposed legislation on the table for the public to see. Talking about classifying assets as securities, commodities, and currencies, and having different regulatory bodies govern those classifications. And again, back to these assets to use in commerce, repay debt, and pay taxes. This is a big deal. It's a really big deal. And it's happening, in real time. And for those of us that are here now, this is a golden opportunity. But I don't think it's too late for the folks that haven't got here yet. You know, I did a tweet today. I put out a tweet just feeling extremely grateful. I'd gotten some of the renderings, right? The sketches for my proposed home that I'm going to build on the property that I've found here in Costa Rica. And just really grateful to Real Vision, Raul Powell, Nick Black, and all the YouTubers that I have followed. Just extremely grateful for everyone who's participated in the journey with me and added value to my experience as an investor. I'm looking at this like I'm investing in quality of life now, right? I've spent 3 years living off top ramen, walking everywhere, you know, and I'm not joking. That's really real. That really happened. There were times where I had to make a choice between spending the money to take the bus or having dinner that night. Well, if I chose to eat that night, and as you can take a look at me, I generally will choose to eat, then I would have to walk. That was real. But I did that in delayed gratification, not spending money on things that I didn't absolutely 100% had to have, so that I would allow and give the money that I put into the market a time to grow, a time to mature, a time to come to where we've come to now. And that is that next level of adoption. So I want to put that on the table. I'd love for any of you to share what things you've, you know, how many of you have sacrificed over the last couple of years to give your investments an opportunity to grow, to eke out that extra $20, $30 to get it into an investment instead of maybe going out to dinner. I'd really, really love to hear your guys's feedback on that. While you're doing that, I want to go through and acknowledge everyone that's tuning into the chat. Scorpion, thanks for tuning in early. DC Precise, Belinda, Ellie Poole, Bill Gould, Edward, Lori, Jungle Link's in the house. Hey, Jungle. We got Gary, nice to see you tuning in frequently. Crawford's in the house. Johnny, you're new. Johnny Midas, I love it, man. Oh, for Malibu. No, you're not new. Sorry about that, Johnny. Bitta, check your email. The link's in the email. We got oh, hey, Kathleen. Aloha. Kathleen's my favorite. It's not the Big Island because that's Hawaii. Oahu is what? It's the most populated island. That's what it is. She's my favorite Oahuan. Riz, XRP's in the house. Phil Moore, nice to have you here tonight, man. All right, so let's see here. I don't have Brady. Brady's MIA. I hope Brady's okay. My thoughts and prayers go out to him. I hope he is good. Oahu. JDO, I love this. This is so perfect. I don't take vacations and live below my income to make this crypto trip fantastic. And really at the end of the day, isn't that what matters, right? See, the dream that I was raised with, that came from my mom, who was a baby boomer, was work hard, get an education, get a good job, buy a house, start a family, and then invest. Okay, that worked for the boomers. It really did. It worked for the boomers because they were the largest demographic to ever hit the planet, which meant as they were getting into their adult life and earning money, there were industries that were growing. So not only did they come in volume, right? Many of them, tons of baby boomers, which meant more houses need to get built, which meant more people needed to learn and get into construction. More people needed to do this, more people to do that. These industries grew, and with that, wages grew. Wages grew. So even though inflation and monetary policy based on inflating the monetary supply so that debt could be repaid with cheaper dollars is not a new strategy, when wages are increasing with the monetary base, it's not a big deal. And when consumption is rising and production has to increase to meet the demand of that consumption, then it's growth. It's growth, growth, growth. Well, that system is no longer appropriate in today's environment. I have a 24-year-old son, and I distinctly remember as he was a child, I was instilling him with that: get an education, get a job, buy a house, start a family, and then maybe invest. And what I'm realizing now is I did him a great disservice, not intentionally, but I was ignorant to the ways of finance. Well, you folks have turned that around for me, right? As I become financially literate, I become very aware that it is no longer a recipe that anybody should subscribe to. That recipe doesn't work anymore. The idea of trading your time for money and having that be your career, it's a losing proposition. Unless you are so unique and so in demand that your wages, income, will continue to scale beyond monetary policy, taxation, and just the general, growth or lack thereof of the economy, how are you going to get ahead? Really? The only answer is assets. So, since I jumped down this rabbit hole in 2018, I've been doing some rigorous reteaching for the son. I love this kid. I'm his biggest fan, and I want nothing but success for him. But the model I gave him as a child will only set him up to fail. I've had to do some reteaching, like I said. The model is now earn your money. You got to exchange your time for money. You have to. But pay yourself first. When that paycheck comes in, the very first thing I encourage him to do is take 10 cents out of every dollar, and that gets allocated to an investment fund. His portfolio. Pay himself first. Find assets that appreciate at a faster rate than the depreciation of the US dollar. Pretty novel idea. Factor in a couple of nuances like compounding interest. Have the assets that you do invest in earn you more assets and have them compound. When you're young, you've got the most valuable asset on the planet. It's called time. And as you get older, you get less of it. Well, little mechanisms like compounding interest are perfect for young people. And if you can find an asset that you believe in and you honestly believe it has value, use case, and a long-term runway, then to have that asset compounding itself over time, it is a winner. You don't need millions of dollars to make millions of dollars. You just need a discipline, a set of behaviors, and a willingness to forego and delay some gratification till later. All right, let me go through the thing here. Generally, Brady is popping up these little goodies right here. All right, let's see. We got I've been thinking about trying to FTX out. I've been thinking about trying FTX out. Yeah, me too, Crawford. I mean, I'll be honest. I have friends that I trust very well. I mean, Nick Black does not like them, but that doesn't mean they're horrible. So I'm going to check them out. And even if they are horrible, if they're adding value to the space, I want to support that. Doesn't mean it's got to be my home for all my crypto interactions, but I definitely want to support anybody who is supporting this space. All right. Bill Gould. By the time the mainstream gets on board, it'll be too late. Early adopters will have the last laugh. Well, here's the thing, Bill. There's an element of that that's true. So if you're brand new to the space right now and you're here before mainstream, you'll never have the advantage I have. I got you by 3 years. You'll never see 3 cent Cardano ever again. Just like I will never have the advantage Jungle Inc. had. He had me by a year or two. And there were people that had him by a year or two. Does that diminish my ability to make wealth in this space? No. People that have come today can build wealth. People that come next year can build wealth. People that come here 2 years from now can build wealth. This is not pet rock. This is not Beanie Babies. This is not a very popular fad. What this is an actual sea change in the way business is getting done. It's a change in the way business will get done in the future. So there are years to go before we reach mass adoption. So every one of us is an early adopter, and there will be early adopters for the next couple of years. See, it's one thing to have a fad take hold. It's one thing for an app like an Instagram to explode or a TikTok to explode. It's a whole other thing to have an entire financial services industry turn. It's like the Titanic. They do not turn quickly. It's a behemoth. Hundreds and hundreds of trillions of dollars in value will eventually make their way to this space. And it will be in 3-step forward, 2-step back fashion for years to come. There's a lot of wealth to be had here. All right. Let's see what we got here. Almost there, grinding hard, causing me almost a divorce. Well, I'll tell you what, man, I think that is a great topic. If the one you're with doesn't get why you're doing what you're doing, don't get mad, don't get angry. Try to help educate. See, most people have a hard time grasping something new if they cannot compare and contrast it to what's going on. And the truth, the ugly, ugly, ugly truth is most people don't understand what's going on, right? I've talked about this in nauseum. We're not educated on financial literacy. It's always been presented as a complex, hard thing that we should defer to others. And we should just go get a job, make money. We should just get a job, go make money and buy stuff. We should go get a job, make money, buy stuff, and then get a loan to buy even more stuff. That's the American way. That's the developed world's way. Why? Because it is what they've learned to do to replace the production that the baby boomers were able to achieve, because production slowed down with my generation, Gen X. Consumption slowed down. So they had to figure out a way to increase consumption. Well, the explosion of the debt market starting in the 70s, right? Really ramping up in the 80s when I started to become an adult. So as my generation, Gen X, was becoming an adult, the productivity of the world had really slowed down. Well, what would goose it, right? I'll tell you what would have goosed it: increasing wages. But did they increase wages? No. They made credit available and derived all kinds of funky markets, right? Subprime, less than good credit. Come on in, sign your name. We'll just charge you a larger interest rate because you're a higher risk. But come on in, it's easy, just sign your name. When credit replaced actual productivity of goods and services, it started us on the path that we're on. And here we are. And guess what? There's no changing it. Unfortunately, it appears that the only way that's going to change is when that whole system blows up. Because there are not rational actors making good policy decisions. Why? Because politicians are incentivized to tell us what we want to hear and give us what we say we want. That doesn't mean it's good for the country or good for the economy. And because their lifespan is so short, sometimes on a 2 or 4 year time interval, they're not getting a whole lot done while they're there. But they can pass spending bills. They can create deficit spending. And therefore, that's become the go-to tool. Look, we gave you money. Look, we're building this. Look, we're putting money to that. Yay. Yay. So let's see what we hear. Johnny's back. Yes. My ex-wife didn't buy for 3 years of watching me acquire. Then she said, okay, help me do this. She's in big now like me. Right on. Good for you, Johnny. All right, so what does Bill got to say? I want to bring back parachute pants and the mullet. You're free to do that, Bill. Last I looked, you're in a free country. Mullets have not been outlawed, at least not in your state. And parachute pants, are we talking MC Hammer type parachute pants? Can't touch this type thing? What are we talking about, Bill? Get specific. Simon, hey, Simon's in the house. Simon, hey, nice to see you, man. All right, so I had sent a link to Bitta, and I hope she got it, and I hope she'll come in soon. But in the event that Bitta doesn't want to spend the next half an hour with me, is there one amongst you that would like to just pop in and riff on this adoption that we're seeing, the impetus of some of these companies in our industry presenting the public with different views of this? Jay Crypto Minded, hey, nice to have you on the show, man. Yes, Jay, I was talking about the FTX Tom Brady commercial, as well as the SoFi commercial, as well as the Gronk Voyager app that I saw all in one game last night. November will be the month to remember, Jay Crypto Minded says. Well, I'm not a big fan. I don't know. It would be great. That would be wonderful. Truth is, I don't make predictions about price or timing, because the truth of the matter is I don't know. And I will tell you, having watched and followed many people who are in the business of prescribing forward intelligence, they're wrong most of the time. Oh, we got this on-chain analytics. Oh, look at this. And we got the 200-day crossing with the 50-day moving average. Oh, my God, get ready. Strap in. Oh, there we go, down 10%. Wait a second. All the analysts said we're going up. This is a baby market, right? Baby market where a very small few can influence the entire market. And there are many different incentives and game theories of why they would want to or not. We're not there yet. So if you want to trade this market, have fun. I wish you luck. Most people lose money over time. Just like most poker players. And I played professionally for 3 years. Most poker players go broke. It takes discipline and a set of hard and fast rules to be a profitable poker player. And even if you're doing everything right, you can still have periods where just the variances kick your butt. Well, I see it with the, so I'm happy for those who have a tremendous amount of confidence in people they follow that give them forward guidance as far as you can expect this asset to do this at this period of time. Right on. I'm not seeing it. But I am happy for those that do. Okay. JDO, free country, Jerry. Who you fooling after Biden's speech on Thursday? You know what? One of the dirty little secret, one of the wonderful things about being down here in Costa Rica is I'm not that involved in the ongoing political stuff that is the United States of America. Yes, I will be beholden to the IRS for the rest of my life. I understand that. But, California burning. I love my home state of California. It's been burning for years. It's still burning. I'm sorry. I'm bummed for y'all. For those of you that are getting more and more repressed in what we thought was a constitutionally free country, you have a choice. You do have a choice. I had a choice. I chose to bail. Not that I don't love my country. I do love my country. But I had to look at, what was going to be the best move for me, right? Like I look at my portfolio today. My portfolio today, if I had stayed in Sonoma County, Northern California, in the heart of the wine country, although I would be happy with the performance of my portfolio, I would not be able to start implementing some of the quality of life moves that I want to make, i.e. buying the property, building a home, and still be on my wealth plan. I wouldn't be able to do that there. If you are, then you got a much bigger portfolio than me, and I'm very happy for you. But I think that is basically what it's going to take. So everybody should really reevaluate where you are. What do you really, really want? And then go where you're best treated. Go where what you have to work with works best for you, not somebody else or some other governing party. All right, we got a Lolo. Let's see, Lolo, welcome. The analysts think they know, but it's a bunch of fun. They just tell you what you want to hear. The truth is the whales are the ones that control the market. Well, that very well could be. And again, I don't know. What I do know, find the assets that you honestly, through your research, believe have a long-term road ahead of them. Invest in them. If you're willing to take a little extra risk, find a yield mechanism. Maybe you can find a yield mechanism without the risk, but it means you have to do more education to understand the mechanism, right? Maybe you don't want to use exchanges or platforms like Nexo, Celcius, Voyager, BlockFi, Abra. Well, if you learn about a blockchain and you understand the protocol and they have an associated wallet and you can take your tokens and put them in that wallet and delegate and earn a reward, you own the private keys, it's your wallet. But yes, it requires more education. It's not as simple as going to Coinbase and pressing buy $50 of this. It's all about what are you willing to do? What are you really willing to do? Like I said, I was willing to eat top ramen and walk for 3 years and live on $350 a month while I tried to do what I wanted to do. So the question is, if you're not where you want to be, there's a very good chance that you are 100% responsible for it, because we all make choices. I mean, I can't tell you how many people, oh, Jerry, you just don't understand. It's so expensive where I am. Da 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 da. I go, okay, do you own a car? Well, yeah, of course I own a car. All right. One of the biggest deflationary, depreciating assets in the world that has high maintenance costs. You have to fuel it. You have to do this. I asked, do you have a cell phone? Yeah, I got a cell phone. All right. Get rid of your friggin' car and use Uber or walk or take a bus. But, oh, yeah. If you're not willing to sacrifice, then you don't deserve anything. I don't care. I got no sympathy for those that won't do the work. If you do the work, good things will happen to you. A monkey can make money in this market. A monkey that just buys Bitcoin, $25 a week, will do great. Will he achieve real wealth? No. But he'll beat that cost of monetary debasement. Anyone in the chat proficient in dream interpretation? Ooh, what's your dream? Sniff, please share. Dreams are wonderful. Dreams are great. That's what got me through 3 years, is having a dream and being committed to whatever it took for as long as it took. The worst case scenario is I would have to admit I was wrong, and I would be destined to live on $350 the rest of my life. Or write a song. Dreams do come true. And they can for you too. All right, what do we got here? I'm buying as much Round Hill Ball Meta. Ooh. Round Hill. What is this? Round Hill / Ball Metaverse ETF. Interesting. I am taking a note. Sniff, thank you. Round Hill Ball Metaverse. That sound, why do I think Kathy Wood's involved in something like that? It just sounds like a Round Hill Ball Metaverse ETF. Okay, it's noted. Mañana morning, 4:30 in the morning when I wake up, boom, first Google search. Round Hill Ball Metaverse ETF. I'm looking into it. Maybe it's something I can slide into my Schwab IRA. Oh, Gary, procrastination is my superpower. If you procrastinate spending money because you're investing, then I'm all for it. Go, Gary, procrastinate away. All right. What do we got here from Riz XRP? It affects the world real talk, not short term. Ooh. Oh, wait. There was one above it. I'm out of order here. Okay. Oh, it affects you forever, Jerry, real talk. And then Riz comes back with it affects the world real talk, not short term. Right on, brother. Right on. Lorena, nice. Welcome to the show. I'm legally blind, and if you can buy BTC and stake my ATA, well, so can you. That a girl. Yes. I'm legally blind, and if I can buy Bitcoin and stake my ATA, well, so can you. Right on. Right friggin' on. Who's got a dream? I would love a dream. My dream, and I mean, you all know it if you tuned into the show. My dream was to come down here and have my portfolio grow to such a place that I would achieve financial security and stability, buy a dream piece of property. It was always had to have a waterfall, right? It had to have a waterfall. Build my home, have my dad and my son with me, and create a couple of small businesses. One has to do with organic agriculture, right? Making my own homemade sauerkraut, doing my sprouts, and then doing financial literacy education in Spanish. That was my dream. I'm a step closer today than I was yesterday. What's your dream? What are you going? Why are you sacrificing? Why are you eating top ramen? Why are you not buying a new pair of shoes when the pair of shoes you got may not be beautiful and new and yummy, but still get you where you want to go? How many of you don't have a car because you know what? The expense of a car takes away from your ability to invest. How many of you are using Uber or public transportation? How many of you are sacrificing and delaying gratification so that you can build your wealth? I would love to know that. And while you guys chime in to the chat, I'm going to bring in my favorite contributor to the show, Bitta Av. Bitta!
Happy Friday, everybody.
How you doing, young lady?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
I'm on fire. I don't know if you, I mean, I got a little swagger to me today. I'm seeing the world is starting to get exposure to what I've been up to my eyeballs in for the last 3+ years. And it's exciting.
Yeah, it is. And you actually look better because last time I think you had I kind of could tell you were not feeling well. But
well,
today,
all that red stuff on my face and the oozing sores, that's real. So that was Friday night. I had my live stream, right? Saturday, I go to the hospital because I'm like, this is not the flu. This is not fever blisters. This is not good. I go to the hospital and I find out I had given myself a staph infection by playing with my dog, not washing my hands, and scratching a mosquito bite.
Oh.
And it started on my hand. And when I rubbed my face.
Oh, here we go.
It got into my eye. And then it spread throughout here. And I mean, it was bad. I couldn't shave. And that's why I didn't shave. It's because under the hair were the sores, that the staph infection sores oozing. It was like I was becoming a zombie. I was becoming a character from The Walking Dead. But modern medicine, 7 days of antibiotics and my homemade sauerkraut, which is the best probiotic yumminess in the world. And I'm back. I'm back, baby.
That's great. Good to have you back.
Thanks. Good to have you. So should we go to the chat and pull up a couple before, or do you have something you want to jump right into?
No, we can go to the chats. Let's see.
All right. What do we got here? We got Simon. We haven't got our Spark token yet because it's an ETH transaction.
Oh, it is.
Well, I haven't got my Spark yet, and I don't know about you guys. I don't count on it. If it happens, it happens, and I hope that it's great. But all right, we got it here.
We got like 15% or something like that a while back.
You did?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's an IOU though. I don't.
Oh, you're talking about on Bitrue.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of XRP parked on Bitrue.
Yeah.
All right, Bill Gould. I just want a Lambo in a single wide trailer. There you go, Bill. Dreams do come true. Well, I have thought about driving a car, but Lorena's blind. How about we get you a super handsome or a super fun, wonderful driver? All right.
I don't think I even want to drive anywhere, considering all the crazy traffic and everything else. I just want to build a mansion and stay there.
Right. They'll deliver everything you want. Delivered right to the front gate, right to your security gate.
It's an island. You can just live in an island.
Here you go. You got a compliment, Bitta.
Oh.
Lolo. Yo, who's this hottie? This is Bitta Ab, bro.
This is the first time me seeing a lot of people. I have been gone for quite a while, so nice to be back.
Not that long. Hey, Steve, nice to have you. Steve says, bugger, missed the start. Good day, guys and gals, lurkers. XRP Panic's in the house. Hey, XRP Panic. I hope crypto moons so as I have my grandma's gold teeth in this.
That is too funny.
Hey, if she doesn't need them, then right on. I want to welcome Dawn Corbin. I don't recognize that name. Dawn, nice to have you on the show. Wow, sores oozing. Yeah, well, staph infections are pretty funky, dude. And they're not uncommon in tropical areas, right? It's a virus it's a bacteria, sorry, not a virus. It's a bacteria that lives in the soil. Oh. And my dog, who I take out all the time, she does her thing, and she does what a dog does. Plays outside, gets stuff on her. I'm petting her, loving her. Oh, I love you. And then I scratch that mosquito bite. Dummy. You would think I learned that because I got staph infection in Hawaii too, doing the same exact thing. Working in the garden, I scratched a mosquito bite, and 3 days later, it looked like my leg was rotting away.
Wow.
Yeah, it's no joke. You got to wash your hand. Don't scratch stuff, number one. But if you do, always wash your hands before you start touching stuff.
I have a bad habit of doing that. Even when there's nothing there, it's just like you don't realize you're doing it. You're just doing it. My mom always throws stuff at me. She's like, "Stop scratching your face." It's like I can't.
Oh my goodness. So, Bitta, I think I saw you at the beginning of the show. I was talking about how more and more exposure to the folks that aren't here yet, they're getting it. They're getting it from companies doing advertising. They're getting it from word of mouth. Right. When you talk to your friend, and like, for instance, I did a post on Twitter and Facebook. Twitter, most of the people on Twitter have come from a very organic crypto conversation over the last 3 years kind of thing. Facebook are, friends from, kindergarten. I've got 40, 50-year relationships with folks, and they're on Facebook, and tons of them. And so I did my little same thing I did on Twitter, I did on Facebook, and I got a whole bunch of these, Jerry, that's so wonderful. We're so happy for you, proud of you, da-da-da-da-da. And like 8 private messages, Jerry, how? What? You're doing Bitcoin, right? Or it was some version of that. What's your tip? What's your tip? And I said, I don't have a tip. I don't have a tip. It's real simple. Learn to pay yourself first. In other words, invest before you do anything else, before you go out to dinner, before you pay your rent, before you pay your utilities. Invest first. If you get into that discipline and then understand and learn some of the other subsequent things that come with that, you're going to be fine. But
Right.
the old model of trading your time for money and thinking that that will secure your life is flawed. I'd like to know what you have learned and what you do that's different than 3 years ago that to prepare for your maturity, because you're still so young.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think my parents have always been very good with money as far as they earn their money. They eat it like, my mom loves to cook, so they eat at home. They always fuss at me when I eat out because they're like, why don't you save? And, they want you to always save so you can buy a house and things like that. So I've always been really good with money. I've never been like too bad as far as earning money. And I've always had like savings and things like that. But what I was really bad at is really spending money. Like I made money and not like most of it would be gone because I eat out because I used to go to school full time and work full time. So I would earn money, but I didn't have time to cook. So I would eat breakfast, lunch, dinner out. We would go to happy hour. We would hang out with friends. We would travel a lot. So at the end of all that, like we would really have nothing to show for it because and then when you have family back home, you always have to send money back home because you have to take care of family members, but happily because, like when you have a little extras, like you get excited to help because we remember how it was when somebody would send us a shirt or shoes or, send us money. Like we know how great that was. So like every time I have something extra, I would send it back home because it's like, hey, it's my family and like that's what I want to do for them. So but as you get older and now that I have a kid, I don't look at it the same way anymore because it's like, hey, now I have to think about like, I had to open a 401. Like, I mean, I've always had my 401k, but I had to open my Roth, the crypto Roth. So, if something happens, my kid would have something and it just things will started switching. And now instead of like going out every night like I used to, I barely go out. So like I invested a lot more in crypto and things like that. Now it's like, do more research and trying to learn like is trading better, is investing long-term better. So your idea of you're not just saving anymore. Like you're actually, it becomes what has like for me, what it became is I actually have a portfolio I want to build. And so I've been building portfolio and my saving account has been, if something happened and I can't buy food, I'm going to my parents' house to eat. So that has become my saving plan. It's like, hey, if I really need money for something, I'm running to my parents' house. I mean, no shame because my mom has food all the time. She makes food more than enough. So it's like, I know like my backup plan is I can go home and eat. But I wouldn't say like I have a huge saving plan, but I definitely have a great portfolio. So it's like that's what I've been focused on is going from the mindset of, okay, now that I'm building a portfolio, now I can think about, oh, now that I have a portfolio, if the market runs or if there's some huge thing that happened, I have a plan of, okay, I'm going to take some of my profit. And now I'm thinking about like, okay, we're going to buy a property. We're going to like have even more assets to build. Not just like for somewhere where you live, but it's actually like a rental income or whatever it is that you want to do. So it definitely the past 4 years, things have really changed for me financially, just from the way I think about how I want to plan things. So
that's a really good point. Like I said, I grew up being indoctrinated with save money.
Right.
And back then, it was a very wise, low risk thing to do because you could earn yield on your savings and just a regular savings account risk free. But those days are gone. And the reason why saving is such a flawed process or procedure is because of the debasement of our dollar, the devaluation of our currencies. If you're saving to buy a house and your dollars are depreciating and the price of the real estate is appreciating, the longer the time in between, you could be priced out and never have the opportunity to get the property. You can never save enough because you will never beat the cost of the deflation of your dollar and the inflation of the asset you want.
Right.
That is scary. This is the first, the last, 7 years, but more importantly, starting 2020, where they really ramped up the debasement of the dollar. That's a relatively new paradigm. And I don't think people have really started to grip and understand that yet. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
There used to be time where you could wait for, like, save while, if in case the market crashed, like, 2008, and there were great opportunities then, and but we've also went through the experience of people were like, I was getting outbid by cash offers on a regular basis. So whatever it is that I had saved for 20%, it was like, not only are they outbidding you on the price, they're actually like, they're giving them more money. That is cash. So regular people didn't really have a chance to really take advantage of that crash that I know, because everybody was outbidding us. And so trying to wait for the market crash or something like that, we're not realizing how far the market has gone, and how the money that you're holding doesn't have as much value to buy as much stuff anymore. So it's just the idea of what we've lived through so far has went away, that we have, like you said, we haven't caught up to that ideology yet. So, and it's really, by the time we learn it, it's going to be too late, because I feel like there's going to be other systems going on that we're not used to, because your parents teach you things and they only teach you what they know. So by the time, whatever ideologies you grew up with, it doesn't go with the time anymore, unless you go out of your way to learn it yourself. So I think that's at the end of the day, that's what it is. Like, you're fighting with what you've learned versus what actually is happening currently. Like, it just doesn't. So
no, that's right. Good call. And I don't want people to walk away from this thinking Jerry says saving is stupid. I think it's important to have a little stash, right? Some people have 6 months of your living expenses tucked away in cash, easily accessible. Some people, and I'm a proponent of this, I try to, depending upon what's going on in the market, when the market is in an upswing, I tend to not buy assets. I tend to try to stack my little $20, $30, $40, my little whatever, and build up a little bit of cash. So if we see a correction, which we always do, there will always be many corrections in a nascent baby market that's growing up. So that's what I do. When the market's going up, I don't buy anything. I just try to get USDC, stack it up. And when it goes down 15%, bam, I'll buy my favorite asset. That type of thing. All right, Scorpion, the dream. RV get a big motorhome. The dream. Get a motorhome for a year and a half, and then start an all-inclusive golf destination travel company, just for a few of my many dream chasing ideas. I love that, Scorpion. I had a dream, and I may do this. I may get wealthy enough to do this. I wanted me and my son to get an RV, and during baseball season, go to every single city that has a Major League Baseball team and go to a game, to a live game in every single stadium in the United States, and just do it, traveling with the RV. I thought that would be so fun.
I will be down for anything that involves good food. I just want to go everywhere and eat good food. That's just try every local food possible is it.
Well, there you go. That might be something. Do a little travel and go to your five completely different countries with completely different cultures and completely different foods, and just maybe blog it or vlog it. What do the young people say?
I'm a vlogger. Yeah.
You're a vlogger.
Every time we go somewhere, yeah, we share everything and where we went and what we've done. So
that would be cool, but I tune into that. All right, here we go, Don. I'm a middle-aged guy. I remember maybe as a young man, early 20s, being in serious credit card debt and then losing my something, then being homeless for a spurt. When I got my next job, I started investing immediately. Well, good job, Don. Good job. It's almost not an elective anymore, though. You know what I mean? For a long time, investing was an elective if you can kind of keep up. When you think about the dollars you earn today are going to be worth less next year, and all the things that you might really want, i.e. homes and things of that nature, are just going to be more expensive next year. That spread just keeps getting wider and wider and wider. And here's the truth. For most of us, our wages are not going to increase. And they're not going to, I guarantee they're not going to increase commensurate with the debasement of the monetary policy. You might get a 2% bump. You might be a union guy and get a 3.5% bump per year, what they call cost of living increases. But that is nowhere near the cost of living is increasing it at a rate of around 15% a year now. And that seems to be the policy going forward. That's scary.
Yeah, but if you think about like your grandparents' days and your parents' days, and if they're putting money in CD of like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and they're getting a 5-10%, that really is investment, because that's really what you get in today's portfolio.
Back in the old days, that was wonderful, because inflation was around 3% per year.
Yeah, so I guess they would call that as their investment, even though it was called a saving. That was technically an investment. So like we got stuck with that word, like saving versus the investment, because the investment then was for the wealthy that is going beyond that, or like I don't think we did the switch.
Savings always had a context of risk-free. There's no risk in saving. My grandmother did great off of bonds. Bonds are an investment, but they're risk-free. See, if you're holding a U.S. Treasury bond, there is nothing on the planet more bulletproof than that as far as risk goes. There's no risk that the government will not pay you the yield on the bond. Okay. They've never defaulted on a bond ever, and they never will. You know why? Do you know the mechanism that they will never default on a bond?
They're just going to print it and give it to you?
The central bank, exactly. The central bank. Now, that's not true with corporations and corporate bonds, and that's not true with cities, counties, or states. And each of those municipality things do have bonds. You can get a California state bond. You live in Washington, right?
Washington, yes.
So you live in the state of Washington, but you also live in a county. Counties issue bonds. Now, do you also live in a city in the county? Or are you outside the city limits?
Well, we're outside the city limits.
Okay. So you all right. The point is, states, counties, and cities also issue bonds. They're not risk-free. Right,
because they can't print our money. So
they can't print the money. But the Fed can. I mean, it's what a racket. What a great frick. Who doesn't want to be the Fed or the U? I would love to be a U.S. Treasury. I mean, you can't lose.
Just print yourself.
If you can't take in enough tax receipts to cover what you spend, hey, Fed, I'm going to issue a shit ton of bonds. If the market doesn't buy them, will you buy them? Oh, okay, great. Crank up the bond printer. I mean, that is very lame. It's kind of a rudimentary thing, but that's kind of what it is. It's really scary. Yeah. All right. Oh, listen to this. Another compliment, Don. Could you imagine being as young as Britta and learning about investing in crypto? Opportunity galore. Younger generation has it all going for them big time. They do. But guess what? The millennial generation is huge, and still very few of you are here.
Yeah.
You're growing. I mean, it's growing, but you're still
partying. We're too busy partying, Jerry. We're not done with our party days yet.
Well, that's okay. That's okay.
But I'm not as young as I look. I'm probably like 10 years older than that you think I am. So that's always wonderful when people think I'm in my late 20s or something. That's wonderful. I am nowhere near there. So it's great.
You're such a young 30 though. You're a young 30.
Sure.
and I know because I was at that age, and there is a big difference. You'll understand when you get much older, it's like anything under 45 is young.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays, even when you're 50, 55, that's not any different than 40 anymore. Like, life has gotten so much better in general.
I like where you're going with that. Keep talking, young lady. Yeah, you got my attention.
No, seriously, if you really see people that are in their 50s and like early 60s, like their lifestyle is not any different than people in their 40s. So like what we thought is 60s and 50s is just not that anymore. Like life has completely changed and completely have evolved.
So 50 is the new 40?
Probably. Maybe the new 30.
60 is the new 50. Ooh, the new 30. I like the direction of this conversation. However,
I'm seeing people and I'm like, they're living life fabulous. I love this.
Right on. Any closing thoughts, young lady, before we wish everybody a farewell?
Just learn. Just educate yourself. Learn. If you are in the crypto, as some of you know, learn your security. Security. That is
security. Yes. God, we cannot hamper that much. Careful with how you interact online with your entities. Be extremely fearful of anything you do over the phone. There are real risks, folks, and sometimes they are nefarious. I mean, it's not an accident that people gather tons of different phone numbers, hack the accounts, and then go rob the people blind. Better live through it. Thank God it didn't crush you. You're going to rebuild. You're doing great. And just learn from each other. Folks, my final thought is thanks for tuning in. I mean, I've just been filled with gratitude. I'm taking big moves in my life. The investments that I'm making in my quality of life after 3 years of literally eating top ramen and living on nothing, it's kind of exciting. Britta, when we're done, I'll WhatsApp you some of the photos, sketches, the sketches from the architect of what this is looking like. Anyway, folks, we will see you next week, same time, same bat channel. On behalf of Britta and myself, Pura Vida.
Bye.